This should be good. Ex-WWE wrestler discussed the legend of Haku. You know, he said, leave that man alone now. He's something serious.
Most legit tough badass.
Haku. Ming. Oh man, Ming. Haku. Ming. Ming. Haku. Haku. I hate to give it to Haku, eh? Haku. The man was tough as hell. The man was insane. I believe there was an actual incident where he got arrested and he broke the handcuffs one time. Mm-hmm. He's just like he's got he had like a head like a gasoline can. It was just like he don't look like he would be violent. He wasn't violent, but don't mess with him.
Yeah,
don't mess with him. Mm-mm. I mean, Ming several times, 100 times.
Scott Norton.
I mean, I know everybody says Ming, and the thing about it is with Ming's not only the toughest guy I've ever met, he's also the best guy I've ever known. I told this story to Chris yesterday. Me and Ming, we had a huge history in Japan. Mm. They loved watching us work. And he always told me, he says, Scott, he says, you bring the animal out of me. And I says, great.
He doesn't want to do that.
No, I'm just kidding. But we went to town.
Bring the animal out.
He would wear his hair, this huge fro-like thing. You could never see his face. It was like wrestling this big head of hair. And I went to lock up with him one time. I stuck my thumb in his eye about here. And I said, oh shit. And Ming apologized to me. I'm sorry. I'm sitting there going, I know how tough this dude is, and I know what I'm a long time ago. But I'm saying to myself, this is the toughest thing. He didn't even wipe his eye. He didn't even move. I mean, if you stick your thumb in somebody's eye, you poke a guy in the eye one time, I mean, he's going to be... Mm-mm. I just went, man, this dude here is just...
Ming is rough.
It's Ming. I mean, like a guy like Don Fry, super tough. I mean...
Who that guy's mean now. Don Fry is rugged.
Ming's just another thing. It's just a different kind of animal, man. I mean...
Yeah, I was there in College Park, Pennsylvania, and
Jerry Saturn.
The Nittany Lions college football team was in there, and we got a little scuffly, and he threw the guy 6'6", 300 some pounds, an offensive lineman, down to the floor, and another one comes running at him, and I was about a half a foot away. He didn't even stand up. He just reached up, grabbed him, and put him down next to the guy and choked him both out.
Damn! That's the roughest thing you've seen.
His fingers look like bowling balls. His hands, man, look like they could just grip you and just... But when I got in the ring with them, so I'm going to tell you about this. I mean, it was King Tonga, Ming, and Barbarian. And they were going to wrestle Ernest Miller and Glacier. And we was down in Disney.
Yeah, that grip is real.
I was scared. I was like, man, they look like they're going to be stiff. Holy cow, I don't know what we're going to do with them. We went in the ring with those guys, man, and they was the easiest guys I've ever worked with. But you know what? He one of the kindest. He's in the movie that we just finished doing.
Oh, yeah?
And I got to spend, yeah. And during the time I wrestled in WCW, we didn't get to spend a lot of time with a lot of guys. We worked together, but we didn't really get to spend like a lot of quality time. And on this movie we just finished doing, The Unbreakable, this guy right here, man, spending every day with him. Then at night we'll meet up to go eat, all of us. And it took about 3 weeks to do the movie down in Florida. Man, this one of the nicest guys, and he just gentle, lovable, nicest guys you ever wanted to meet.
Haku. Yeah, Haku and then Barb right behind him.
It's a Warlord.
Yeah, those two in order.
I interviewed Barbarian last year, and I think the old joke is that the only person that Barbarian ever said he was afraid of was Haku, and the only person Haku ever said he was afraid of was Barbarian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. It's true. They're both Tongan. They're both, that's their style and that stuff, and they're both the nicest people in the world, but, they hit that button and they go, and they don't stop. I think it was East St. Louis. We had done a show in St. Louis that night, and so afterwards we went to East St. Louis, and we went to this one club, and I think I was grabbing something to eat at the time, and some, like, if I remember, it was 4 guys, and they're trying to give Haku, crap, and next thing I know, Haku had all 4 of them down in a second, just like that. So the person that was working there, he was off-duty police officer, and he came over to it, and what I had read in the paper is that he was a former football player for LA Rams at one time. And in the paper it said, I used to hold my own on double teams in football and do okay. He says, this man took me and threw me like I weighed 100 pounds. He literally took me and just tossed me across the room like I was 100 pounds.
Woo!
He said, I've never had a person like that ever do that in my entire life. And that was Haku. You gotta remember, Haku trained sumo, so he knew the center of balance. He practiced those punches like they do over there, practicing on the poles, those real quick punches. He had those big legs. He could kick above his head, right in your face, right there.
Yeah, I seen that.
And he's a 300-pound man.
He jumped. I remember
incredible athlete.
The match with Big Show, or he was giant then, not the Big Show. He caught Big Show. He caught Big Show in the head. Big Show was legit 7 foot. He caught him in the side of the head. Yeah, he can raise those feet. The legs, really.
And just tough as nails. Tough. I saw him in a nose bite incident, Baltimore. I was there that night. Just got done talking to him, and he was doing great. I was with Tonga Kid, and we were just walking around. Next thing I know is Haku's staring at this one person. The place was packed. It's called the Safari Club. And all of a sudden he just starts going straight down through the crowd. And I'm looking at him like, well, what's up, And all of a sudden he just grabs this guy and just bit his nose, bit it off. Boom, gone.
Woo.
He
told that guy to leave him alone.
Don't know why. He just saw the guy and something about him mesmerized him, and that was it.
But he was eating dinner, and the guy said, "Leave me alone, brother." And the guy kept on. He had to bite his nose off for him. Bit his nose good. That's good. That's good.
Really nice. Such a nice
alone.
So what was so funny is everyone knew what a badass barbarian was, but everyone also knew what a badass Bing was. And what was so hilarious, if you're with Bing, you go, well, the only guy I wouldn't mess with is barbarian. And then if you're talking barbarian, I might be tough. I can't handle Ming. And they'd say like this. And Ming would do this damn thing, bro. I've never seen him, because he's like a 900-degree black belt or some shit. To warm up, he would stand in a doorway. He would swing his foot backwards and up and hit his toe on the top of the steel throughway with both legs. He'd go one, then he'd do the other one. I'm like,
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message. The alarming spike in inflation soaring to its highest level in nearly 40 years.
I'm like, you mean to tell me this dude is like 300 pounds of muscle? He's flexible. He's got 99 degrees in black belt shit, and he can kick, like he can kick a pencil off the top of a wall too. Like, if I do get in a fight, God, please not with these guys. So I was always hanging around those guys, like, hey, we're best friends, aren't we?
We're in Houma, Louisiana. Everybody looks like they're related in the audience. The Haku and Fickle family. We come out of the Houma. Me,
Sullivan,
Ming, Arn, and Barbarian. Well, in Louisiana, they used to have some strange laws where you couldn't buy beer unless you went into a bar. So we're driving down, heading back to New Orleans, and there's a little roadside bar. I pull in, I said, I'll get the beer. I pull in, some guy said, I gotta take a leak, and I go in and I'm waiting, it's packed. I'm trying to get the girl to take my money and get the beer. All of a sudden, I look to my left, there's me. And he's drinking triple Jack Daniels. Oh, God, I gotta get out of here. All of a sudden, I look again, and he's at the pool table and puts money up and says, I play winner. Well, somebody said a derogatory statement to him. And a guy came up behind him and hit him with a pool cue. And it shattered. He turned around and he goozled the guy. That was the first time I ever saw. I didn't know it was real. But he dropped the guy. He bit through the guy's shirt on his back and took a piece of flesh out. Jumped in the car and I drove down.
Leave that man alone.
Louisiana. I pulled off and drove as far as I could. Turned the car around, facing.
This is rugged because some people didn't even know that this was real. And Sullivan's been out there as long as Flair. And yeah, he said that. They said that hole is so rough. It's like paralyzing. Catch you underneath that throat. That grip is hell.
5 minutes later, cop cars go by. We waited about an hour and a half, and I drove like 150 miles out of my way to get back to New Orleans. It was like, to this day, it looked like a movie. You know, it looked like a movie stuff. I mean, he's a cannibal. I mean, you know, you've heard all the stories. The Funk, what was his, Jimmy Jack Funk? The eye. I mean, I think I'd rather go in with a tiger than Ming.
Haku is one of the most talented, wonderful guys that I've met in this business. He has another side that's very violent, and without a doubt, he is the toughest, most accomplished street fighter I've ever seen. He's 6'3", 295 pounds and quick as a cat, and he could, probably jump up and kick a rim with his feet. And a nice guy, but if you rile him up, I mean, I'll tell you one quick story. We're in a bar in Cleveland, and the bar was owned by a wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns, so there was a number of football players there, and I think it was either the night before or the night after, or the night of the matches, and we were in this bar, and there was Haku, Brian Blair, myself, and I think Raymond Rougeau. We're at the bar, and we're having a couple drinks, and these 4 football players, big guys from the Browns, were in there talking, and they were about wrestling, about phony this and this and that and this. So Haku, he's drinking cognac and coke. Boom, he puts it down. He walks over to the table.
That's truth. Remember, what did Brett say about that one time about something about that's the thing that'll always get you started, and then the next thing you know, you have to throw somebody across the damn ground, throw them through the wall or whatever.
And he said, fellas, he says, I realize you guys are here just to have a little bit of good time, just like we are at the bar. But he says, I'm going to tell you right now, if I hear any more shit about wrestling, there'll be trouble. And he turned around and walked away. They didn't say another word.
They left it alone.
It's funny because there was a couple 300-pounders there. And, he was just, I remember he was in a fight one night at a bar, and there was 3 guys. And he hit one guy with the chop in the neck, and he came back and hit the other guy with the open hand in the face. And the other guy
slapped him, knocking him
out of his chair. Haku dove across the table and bit the guy in the nose. And his nose was just hanging there. And the guy went into shock. And Haku got arrested, and they litigated it out of court, but I know it cost a lot of money. I think Vince had to pay it. I remember I worked with him when he was 18 years old in Japan, and he was working for Baba. And he threw me in the ropes and hit me with the drop kick and almost knocked me out. And as he was covering me, I said to him, I'm supposed to give those, not take those. He looked at me like, what? But
this is a story about Haku. I'm going to tell you. I spent a lot of time in Nashville. And one of the bars, I think it's on Murfreesboro Road, that's one of the main roads that leads through Nashville. They had a bar that stayed open to about 3 o'clock. And he was in there one night, everybody drunk. And Haku is kind of a person of color. Of course, one of those Nashville jackoffs said, get the whatever out of here. And he heard that. He's about half hammered too. He ended up beating up by himself about 5 or 6 guys. And they had to call the police out, and he ended up beating 2 or 3 of them. Handcuffed him and took him in. And what happened, he didn't really hurt any of the cops, but he kind of messed up some of those guys. And the promoter was an old guy named Nick Goulas. He ended up getting him out of jail and kind of soft soaping everything that happened, trying to push it out. And he got out of it. I don't know how, but Haku was not only a drinker, but he was a tough guy and he could back it up, but never staggered. But the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. I mean, if you met Haku and he wasn't drinking, you'd fall in love with him. He'd treat you so nice. Oh, hello, how you doing? Blah, 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 and shake your hand. And just as pleasant as he could be, till he started drinking and somebody pissed him off.
I heard one version of the story of that where Haku, to use wrestling, the parlance of...
I was getting into that
You
now.
see your stake. You can register online to vote right now. It only takes 2 minutes.
The parlance of our times, to quote the Big Lebowski, he no-sold the mace, and it didn't...
Oh, the spray in the eyes. It did nothing. It didn't do shit.
Well, I would say that's...
He took the mace back and sprayed himself, I heard.
They had to mace him. He's about 6'3", and he's about 270.
He's more than that, wasn't he?
He was in shape.
The most astounding thing I'd ever seen with one of the guys was we had gone to a bar in East St. Louis. This is in my 1990-91 run with WWF. And after the show, we'd all gone over to this bar in East St. Louis, which is the same neck of woods where all that rioting and stuff happened a few years ago. And long story short, a really tiny guy, 5'1", 2", got a little disrespectful Haku, like of all human beings, right? And me and Boss Man and Perfect had gone over together. Ray and I, Boss Man and I, were standing against the wall, and we see this thing happening with Haku and this guy. Haku comes up out of his chair, like after an hour of this guy just keep bugging with him. Comes up and he grabs that move. I always thought that move was a wrestling move. He grabs this guy, and the guy goes stiff as a board, and as if somebody flipped a light switch, chairs and tables start flying and bottles, and Ray grabs me, gigantic Boss Man, pushed me against the wall, and that little kid's voice goes, "Let's get out of here." And we're sliding down the wall, and I see Perfect get hit in the head with a chair, and his head instantly crimson red. And it's like watching a movie. There's like people like fighting him, it looks like an old Western bar fight or something. We get outside, and there's a couple 150 people outside, but it still sounds like there's a riot inside. And these cop cars, like 10 cop cars, come pulling in and all go running in there. And after 5, 6, 7 minutes, it calms down a bit. They come out. There's like 2 guys on each arm, on each leg. One guy's got him by the hair. They're carrying Haku, right? And Haku's fighting with them. And we're standing 10 feet watching this, like a crowd control. And they put him down on his knees, and they're all still holding him. And the head cop comes out, pulls his metal baton out, flicks it out, and I mean, brother, he swung it from behind his ass and hit Haku right upside the head. And Haku went like this. All they did was piss him off. And those cops all pulled their mace out and emptied their cans of mace, like 20 cans of mace, right into his face. And I remember they put 3 pairs of handcuffs on him, leg cuffs. And that's, if you look back and when he had that big purple jelly bean on his face, that was what it was from.
Really?
Oh my God, it was. And you know, you see somebody take a shot with a metal baton like that and completely no sell it. Like, hey, the guy's going to fight.
There's a question that everybody loves to ask: who would win in a bar fight when they're at their peaks, Haku or Brock Lesnar?
Oh shit! No, I already answered that.
That's a tough one, James.
I already answered that.
You know,
man, I'm sorry, man would kill it.
Two different animals. These 2 different animals from a different style. You know. Oh my gosh. I never met Brock. And I respect him for what he did. And of course, I respect the brother. You know, Haku is my brother. But man, it's a tough one. Okay, let me put it this way. If it's go by rule, you follow me, Chris? If you go by rule, oh no, you cannot touch his eye, you cannot poke his nose. If you go by rule, Brock will win.
Maybe the UFC, yeah.
That's my idea. You know, Brock, you know, go by rule, Brock will tie, go and know every which way. You know, Brock will win.
The street fight is over with.
If anything goes, you know, because I know my brother. If anything goes, I had to give it to Haku. Haku is a crazy strength. Oh man, you don't know. I know the man. You don't know the man. The strength. Yeah, a crazy strength. But if you know rule, maybe Haku will take the edge. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that. But even like if it was a UFC match, Mang ain't easily losing. They say, "Oh well, what did somebody said in the comments one time on another video? Oh man, Brock will just take him down and that's it. Yeah, he could take him down, but keeping him there. That's the hard part. Because what did his cousin say? Keith. He said something like, he said Brock is tough, but man, crazy tough. So yeah, it may be close because Brock moves. Brock he moves like a cruiserweight, but still he have his hands full because boy, this man and Meng wouldn't quit, so he might break his arm and Meng still might keep going. So he don't care. Like the mace thing, taking the mace back and spraying yourself. That's the roughest damn thing you heard. Taking the mace from the guy and then spraying your own self. Woo! Leave that person alone, damn it. Leave him alone.